Playing against Kobe is like playing against a grizzly bear. If anything, any fear in you that shows, he's going to expose it. I've actually enjoyed the encounters and the competition against Kobe, man. Kobe's going to bring the best out of you. And when you play the best, you know you better be on your best. And anytime I'm pushed like that, I have nothing but great respect for that.
Story that I heard that you landed in LA and Kobe picked you up.
Black Range Rover.
Yeah, he picked you up because he just wanted to chop it up with you, and after y'all go out to eat or whatever, you decided to go out. He tell your ass, I'm dropping you off to the hotel. This is my stop. I'm going to work out. I'm going to the gym. Is that a true story?
He took me out to eat, and I said, what you getting ready to do? I'm going to the club. And he said, I'm going to the gym. And that was him. That's what made, I mean, that greatness. That's where that greatness came from. Because his work ethic
second to none.
was just.
But I guarantee you, it's probably a handful of people on the other team that he was playing that he did that he can't. Because you know Kobe, he ain't talking to nobody through the game. Damn sure not nobody on another team. So I'm just saying, that showed the respect he had for you. Kobe ain't going to pick up nobody that he finna play against the next day. Hell nah.
It was all
you know that ain't his MO.
Yeah.
Hell nah.
He was studying you the whole time.
Yeah,
studying what you was eating, studying what you was saying. No bullshit. That's how he was. He was a sicko when it came to that kind of shit, like trying to find any kind of advantage or angle he could possibly get. Like stories when I got a chance to play with him and just to see what he would do to study people, study film. This motherfucker, we were flying to Spain one time in the preseason. I've told this story before, but I thought he was over there rapping. Everyone was asleep. I went over there to talk to him. I was about to talk shit to him about rapping. But he was over there with a piece of paper with like 30 different basketball courts on it, and he's just like, I know that I'm gonna draw at least 3 people. So I got the guy guarding me, the guy that's coming to double, and then the help side. So I'm over here looking to see where you, L.O., Ron, Steve, Fish are all gonna be open at. When I'm guarded by 3 people, and he had like 30 different courts, this is where you're gonna be, this is where LO's gonna, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why are we flying? Like, everyone else knocked out, I couldn't sleep. But it was just like little things like that, and then I would go to Orange County and work out with him, and we on the track before the sun comes up. And then we lift weights so hard that, all right, let's go shoot. And I'm like, motherfucker, I can't lift my arms. You want me to go shoot a basketball right now? Like, his grind was sickening. Yeah, that was his thing, man.
If anybody know Cole, Cole respects you if you a dog and you gonna go at him.
You go back at him.
And that's when Cole started to respect me, when he realized, like, I'm not backing down. And it's not that attention, it's just who I am. I mean, me and Cole, we got into a little tussle in the All-Star game a little bit, and I ended up hitting him the wrong way and he broke his nose.
That was the first time I've ever seen that.
But I'm gonna tell you the thing. So after All-Star break, we got the Lakers about like 3 games after the break.
Yes, he got the mask on.
He got the mask
yes.
on. So but you know what? I called him, you know, I'm not maliciously, didn't maliciously do it. I called him and I said, yo, Cole. He was like, bro, I love it. I'm like, you what? He's like, I love it. I see you in a couple of days. I'm like, oh, this oh, snap. And he gave it to me too, boy.
Well, that game was exciting because you knew Michael in the Garden was always going to do something special. The biggest thing that stood out was Kobe was going to go after Michael, and he wasn't scared. And one of the plays that I will never forget, and we can ask Karl Malone about it someday,
I was going to bring it up.
is that he asked for a pick and roll, and Kobe waved them off. And I think we were all in awe or a shock that that's, you know, Karl Malone, pick and roll, John Stockton, they've done it a million times. So Kobe and Karl, and Kobe was like, no, I got this all by myself. And he waved Karl out, and he did his thing. And I think Karl was like, okay, I need to come out of the game because this is past me now.
That's what exactly I was going to ask you, because Karl Malone was people forget, he was the MVP of the league at that time. In 97, he won MVP. What was it like after the game, or even on the bench when y'all were around Karl? What was he talking like?
Well, one, for you to just have the nerve to wave Karl off, even if he wasn't the MVP, just because of his muscles, you had to be different. And so on the bench, we were all in tears and laughing and giving Karl a hard time about, you must have didn't set a good screen. And so, but it just showed Kobe's determination to be the best, and he wanted to be the next Michael Jordan, if not better. And he wanted that one-on-one challenge, and he didn't feel like he needed Carl's help at the time.
I remember you had Coach Wool down in Orlando, and I came out early to say hi to Ty Lue, I think it was, and they were telling me, "Oh, Max ready for you, Max ready for the game." And I remember reading about you having some tightness in your back. I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, how's his back?" "Oh, so he's ready for you." I said, "He's gonna be fine when I hit him in that." Listen, so I'm gonna check.
Yeah?
I'm gonna check that back.
I had like 21 in the first half. I could have swore this dude, I think I came up, got a rebound, and when I went down, he jumped up behind me, and I swear I got an elbow on my back. I swear I got an elbow on my back. And I had a contusion. I was out. I had a contusion. I was like, yo, he did that because I was cooking in the first half, right? And I was like, damn.
He is competitive, drinking a cup of coffee.
Hey, listen,
you know that's going to happen.
I just wanted to test the back out, see how healthy it is.
Knowing that he's one of the greatest in my eye, probably my Michael Jordan, if I could say the word to say the least. But he's a great competitor. For the most part, every battle that I faced against him, I watched the most film on him more than any other player.
Really?
I'm talking about from the day before the game, the day of the game, and right before the game. And it's like so much film I had to put in, and just to see the fact that he actually said that about me, it kind of surprised me because we never talked on the court.
No.
We was always at each other's head, and we wasn't nobody budging. He'd throw an elbow, I'd throw an elbow. It'd be one of those type of competitive battles, but it was a big loss for all us in basketball.
Yes, it was.
What made him so tough?
Just his relentlessness, his mentality to just seek and destroy. He comes to the game. Some days he might not even dap you, or some days he just might be real quiet with his jaws get tight right here. Anytime his jaws get tight right there, he trying to shoot at least 25 attempts and field goals. Right. So I just know he's not backing down, and there's no shot that's going to discourage him. He might miss his first 8, but in the fourth quarter, you just better believe he's that confident to shoot the next 5. And you don't have a lot of superstars like that, and he don't mind taking the blame. And, I've been around this league a lot of times. I've seen guys shy away from those moments, and he's a guy that never done that.
And I'm just being honest with everybody. I wanted to link with Kobe, because Kobe and I had like a.
How can you not?
Listen to me. Kobe and I had like a different connect. Like when Kobe and Shaq went on their little thing, a lot of people went with Shaq. A lot of people didn't even fuck with Kobe. Kobe, whatever. I'm one of the very few that just stayed with him. And I was a neutral guy anyway. I show everybody love. You know what I'm saying?
Kobe loved dogs.
But Kobe respect dogs. like real cat star. If you ever notice, he never really got into it with somebody that he really respected. You know what I'm saying? Like I watched when you and him went at it, and you threw the ball, he flinched. It was a form of respect there that they was talking. Nobody noticed, but they was talking simultaneously. Like, nigga, I wish you would hit me with this ball. You got more respect than me than that. So him and Matt I already knew that, but players know this.
Yeah.
And then you already know who I'm. If we get into it and we get the tech, it's verbal. If we bumping, I'm already knowing what he's saying to me without even talking. So that's how we used to. Real shit. Like not even thinking. That's how players actually was talking and dealing with each other. So whenever I would watch him get into it with somebody and he actually would get into it, it was either because he didn't respect them and it went like that, or he respected them and it went a whole nother way.
We're starting to build a culture at USA Basketball. And he, Chauncey Billups, and Jason Kidd were added to add veteran leadership to LeBron and Carmelo and those guys who were great guys. And so we're getting ready to get ready for Beijing. And so I'm with my staff in Vegas a couple days before the team comes in, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. It's 2 days early, and it's Kobe. He said, "Coach, can I talk to you for a minute?" And I said, "Certainly." So we went to a private room, and I said, "What do you need?" He said, I need to ask you a favor." And And I said, yeah, what is it? And he said, I want to guard the best perimeter player on every team that we play. Now, he's the NBA scoring champ. He's the best player in the league at that time. He had 7 50-point games that year. And he knew that he would have to change a little bit and be a leader. But he says, I want to guard the best perimeter player. And then he pauses, and his eyes. He and Jordan had the same eyes. They killed you with their eyes. And he leans forward, and he said, Coach, I promise you I'll destroy him. I got, holy shit. I said, this is good. So we go and we have a team meeting. In the first practice, he doesn't take a shot. He does not take one shot. And he's playing defense. And so I call him over afterwards. I said, yo, this destroy thing. He says, Coach, I promised you I'll destroy him. I said, look, I've seen you destroy teams offensively. Will you shoot the frickin' ball? And he smiled, he had that smile. And he said from then on, I was the only coach ever to ask him to shoot. And you know what he was doing, JJ? He had this vision of moments. He knew that for us to win the gold medal, we would have to beat Argentina, whether it be in a semis or the gold medal game. And that he wanted to guard Ginobili. Believe me, he already had that figured out. And he was going to prepare to guard Ginobili. It wasn't just to set an example for his team. He had that vision. Crazy. So we do play Argentina in the semis. And we're beating them by 20 points, and Ginobili gets hurt. So now you think we're going to win by 40. And it becomes a 6-point game because now he's not interested anymore. That's who he is. That's who he was. God bless him.
Like, we had a, fuck, he gonna be mad at me for this, but look, we had a blowout. We got blew out in Portland.
We was getting blew out in Portland. So everybody, Kobe's in the locker room just waiting for everybody to come in. And everybody down there got Kobe's on the team, so.
Yeah. He came into the locker room and we got beat pretty bad, and I don't think he liked the way we played, and he said, from now on out, every time down the court, I touch the ball. Y'all gonna learn what it's like to play with Kobe Bean fucking Bryant. And
I come in, he said, y'all playing like blah, 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 soft, and how y'all gonna wear these shoes and y'all soft? Ain't what we do here in LA. So I'm not thinking nothing of it. He tells everybody to take their shoes off, their Kobe's off. I'm like, what? Like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, what's wrong with you? Nah, take them off. Take them off.
I'm sitting there looking like,
okay.
Oh, this motherfucker serious.
It's dead ass serious.
He just started grabbing people's shoes and just throwing them. He threw them all in the trash.
Oh,
and
wow.
He's like, y'all don't deserve these. This don't represent the, the Lakers and all that. I'm like, dog, until y'all get it right, y'all can't wear no Kobe's.
And so Nick Young, playful ass, we shower and shit, we come back. Nick walk in the locker room, talking about, y'all better throw that motherfucker the ball or it's gonna be some shit around here.
Straight up.
Like, Nick never took anything serious, though.
Yeah.
But we had just got the shit kicked out of us, and Kobe wasn't going for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I just think mentally, like, he meant that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the shoe thing was pretty funny because Nick Young wore Adidas and I wore Peak. So it wasn't a personal problem for us. So we thought it was hilarious. And, Nick and I were the only two guys in the locker room when this was happening. And so we thought it was the funniest thing in the world that it was happening because it didn't affect us personally. But that's just who he was, and that band was all of 2 games, and then everybody was back wearing the shoes.
How driven was Cole, and how did that rub off on you?
I learned from this dude just watching him, man. He said he was better than Mike.
You could tell though, he felt that way.
I said, what? But you gotta understand his drive. It ain't too many dudes that play in the NBA that's like, yo, and that really mean it. And they heart, like, that's growing up right now, like, I'm gonna be better than LeBron James.
Nah.
And that's what he chased his whole life, was to be just as good or mentioned with Michael Jordan.
I remember saying, I need to get 6. I want to be able to sit at the same table with Mike.
His whole frame of mind, he had 63, and Dallas had 61 in the third quarter.
He and I did the TNT special, and he talked about when we first met. I didn't remember that. I remember him coming to the locker room, and he was looking for Penny. And, him and Penny, I guess Penny was, too busy for him, whatever. And then he came to me and asked for an autograph and a picture. And I was like, sure, young fella. I didn't even know that. Like, even when we played together, like, he never told me that. But, look, he was a guy that when he came in at 17, 18, he knew he wanted to be the best player in the world. And, we definitely had the big brother, little brother relationship. And people ask me all the time, if we had all over to do again, what would I do different? And the answer is nothing. We definitely pushed each other, and it was able for us to win 3 out of 4. Unfortunately, the business of basketball kicked in. I wanted to do other things, and then he was really able to shine and, take over and, make a name for himself. But again, he's gone too soon. He'll never be forgotten. But I can boastfully say that we are the most enigmatic, controversial, most dominant 1-2 punch, little to big, ever created, and we will never be duplicated. I don't care what you say. And I don't care who you try to compare us to. It'll never be another Kobe and Shaq ever again.
It got kind of interesting playing against him because after a while, I get to study in the triangle. I'm knowing sometimes he flash and sometimes he might, set a back screen.
And this is what Phil brought, the offense Phil brought.
Exactly, the triangle offense. Yeah. And I studied it so much, and sometimes I would have to deny him when he get hot. And it would be funny because he'll look at Powell, and he noticed that I'm overplaying. He'd get to talking in Spanish.
Really?
But that was a counter.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, okay, if I'm denying, okay, now he's going back door. And I was like, yo, you speaking in Spanish now? Let me get ready for the counter. And he just did little creative things like that to try to get an edge. And like I say, he never shot a shot that he didn't like. And he worked hard. He crashed the offensive glass a lot. No one pretty much talks about that a lot. Great rebounder, great defender. I could just go on about Kobe.
So
I was one of the guys when he was a rookie, and a lot of guys were upset at him because back then you could bring beer in the locker room. Mm-hmm. And when we got him on the team, it was like, no more beer?
Yep.
Oh, man, you messing everything up, little kid. And I think that was kind of the thing that when guys were hazing someone, it kind of pushed Kobe away from a lot of guys because back then you weren't used to an 18-year-old kid coming in the league, and he's a good 18-year-old kid. He's going to take someone's spot. And so a lot of guys were kind of, standoffish to him. But for me, I'm saying he's a part of the team. He's a basketball player. You love this guy because he's such a competitor. And that's the first thing I know. In the very first practice, we were going through a walkthrough, and he was going 100 miles an hour. I'm like, dude, calm down. It's a walkthrough. But he was that type of competitor, and that's what made everybody on our team better because you knew if you didn't come with it that day, you was going to get embarrassed.
Mm-hmm. Well, as the competitor, you want to win more than anybody. And I just remember when I had a chance to match up with him finally, because at first it was Ray guard him, then I asked to switch on him. Can I guard Kobe? Let me guard Kobe.
At a pivotal moment, he was giving you guys some trouble.
And I remember when I first got on him, I'm leading on him, I'm breathing hard on him. I got that from Kevin Garnett. And he just shot me with an elbow right to my ribs like twice. And I was like, hold on, he's like, well, we shouldn't have came over here. You're going to come over here, you're going to take this pain. And I was like, this guy right here, man, he just don't stop with the little tricks. And he just wanted to just kill me, like straight up. He would grab me, toss me, elbow me, and everything he could. And the most competitive player I ever played against, by far. I mean, it was just like a new challenge, oh, you want me to come over there now, Paul? You want some of this? And it was just like, wow, all right. I got to be ready to be embarrassed on national TV, but, I'm up for it.
Yeah, I told this story before about how we played during the regular season. It was day before All-Star break, and we were beating them pretty good in OKC, and he just, you can basically, he said, you can have this game. You can't sit at my table. I got, at that time, did he have 5 yet? Yeah, they have 5 championships, so it was just like, you guys are playing well, but you don't know what it feels like to hit the top, and that was a nice little jab right there, as a young player, you feel like you're coming up quick and you feel like you're establishing yourself, and then you got a guy who's on another level as far as accomplishments and experience. push you back down to another level. So it was humbling, but it was also motivation.
And when he came to approach me at the All-Star game and asked him how to make first team all defense, and I sat there at the center court and taught him a lot of things, and he made the first team all defense with me that year. I said this young kid has a lot of different things in him. He's got a lot of different mentality, and he kept asking me stuff every time he played me. And I posted him up, and I got it. He would always come over to me and sneak it in my ear. OG, man, why you keep killing me on these post-ups, man? You got to teach me that. What should I do? And that was just a big thing for me to hear that and to respect that. And I couldn't do nothing but respect it and teach him the game because I know I'm a lot older than him. And I was going to be leaving the game soon. And I want to see somebody in that game that imitates the things that I do and can be dominant at it. And this kid was one of them guys. And I taught him everything that I needed to tell him. We used to stay after practice in L.A. And I used to teach him the post-up game. Then he used to fade away. He took it all. He'd face you up and go at you. And it was things that he did like that. And we used to do drills about defense. I used to get him, and I used to throw a tennis ball back and forth, and he used to catch it with one hand and slide. What I learned. And he got so good at it where he used to guard all the top guys. And that's when I started telling him, stop straying away from all the top guys. If the top guy on the team is there, you guard him. Guard him all night. And then you take his heart from him, and then you go down and kill him on the other end. And that's what he started doing. And that's what he started doing.
That motherfucking dog shit. I love that.
In that 2010 playoff series, I would have to say, because, he shot his rush percentage that year.
Yep.
But it was nothing getting in the way of him getting that championship when I look back. Man, he went and did it. He won it without Shaq, things to that nature. And
do you remember any little incidents that happened?
I was just about to bring it up.
Go ahead.
So it was one play where he's going to the rim. He gets fouled. I get my hand on it. Probably could have been a jump ball. He was getting a little frustrated. So he threw an elbow. Boom. I caught it, stomached it, and I had to throw one rack real quick. Took the ball. And it was that kind of battle. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But he got his little tactics, man. It's Kobe Bryant, man, one of the best that I ever played against, man.
Did you ever have any concerns about jumping straight to high school, from high school right into the pros?
No. I mean, I had people around me, since 9th grade, because I knew that this is something that I wanted to do. It's something I was considering since that time. So I kind of tried to prepare myself, leading up to that point. So I talked to as many NBA players as I could. I had my father there. So basically, when it came time to make the jump, I knew what I was getting into.
And then Kobe, I just remember Kobe, a young lion. Just like, how young lions hunt? You know what I mean? They're like, man, I can get out there and get me a kill. You know what I mean? Just put me in the game, coach. He was over there hungry. Oh, he was over there hungry. I just seen it in his eyes, right? So when he got in the game, he was real, I'm just gonna say it, wild, right? He was kind of wild. Yeah. I remember calling my brothers at home like, man, I just played against the rawest young 18-year-old that's probably out there. I mean, I ain't never played against a young boy that got it like this. So I'm 24, 25, big boy. You know what I mean? 224, 225, playing big, jumping, doing all that, what he doing. But I was a grown man, so in my mind, no young boy was going, I wasn't going for that. You know what I mean? I'm going to take it to the paint, we're going to blow for blow, or whatever we're going to do. I wasn't going for that, but I seen the greatness in him young, right then, when I called home, like, man, this young boy going to be nice. Fast forward to 3 years later, watch me go to work, and I'm doing my thing, and then they traded Eddie, put him in the game. So his, I guess, 4th years when he really got on, right? Something like that, I think. Eddie was gone. He got in the game, and he never looked back, right? He never looked back. I start to see him 4th, 5th, 6th year in the league, so my 7th, 8th, or whatever, 6th, 7th, 8th, I'm seeing him, we going at it. Kobe a big boy now, you know what I mean? Period. So we going blow for blow. Then, bop, he went in the lab, and he took over the league, dog. That's all I can say with that one, man. He took over the league, bro, you know what I mean? I know he was mimicking Mike. I grew up on Mike like dudes grew up on Steph and Kobe and all that, so I get it, right? But, so, one thing I will say is that I've seen him come from that young boy to take over the league.
I mean, I think on some level we all feel like we haven't given our all or our best in everything we've ever done, whether sometimes it's at home, whether it's at work, with our job, with our hobbies, whatever it is. And there was something about Kobe that I think reassured us that it's possible, you know, to give every ounce of yourself and literally exhaust yourself to be great at what you want to do, to be great at what you love to do. He often spoke of the sacrifices it required to do that, though. And I think we appreciate that, and that's why we're torn. We don't see many people with that level of dedication to who they are and what they're trying to become. And he did it imperfectly, you know, and we oftentimes judged him while he was going through it, while he was doing it. But I think looking back on it all, you know, now a lot of us are gonna celebrate a man that we probably should have been celebrating much sooner.
Well, I met Kobe in high school, and he came onto our AAU team, and he walked in, and he really didn't say much, and he came off the bench originally, and as our sixth man to our team. So that tells you our team was pretty good. And then you add a 16, 17-year-old Kobe Bryant, and he comes in as our point guard, shooting at half court, jump shots, shoots an air ball the first time. The second time he comes down, he shoots at half court, he makes it. What statement do you need to make after that?
Yep. But he did not walk into your team and say, no one's going to punk me. So I guess that's just reserved for the Lakers.
When I first get to the Lakers, Shaq tells me, if you and Kobe get into it, it's 10 G's in the locker. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, Shaq. I love you. I should have texted you first. You know what I mean? It's 10 G's in the locker.
What?
That's what I
How
see,
many
bro.
days a week you want me to get into it with him?
This is 3 days into practice. He's like, it's 10 G's up there, da-da-da. I'm like, man, come on, you playing, man. It's 10 G's and $1 bills, man. If you ever get into it and you handle your business, grab that. I couldn't believe it. I'm new to the Lakers. I'm like, man, these boys is crazy, bro.
I remember a lot of things about Kobe, especially during those finals. I could finally tell P this. I was scared to death facing Kobe. I mean, because, you know, he was scary, man. You just didn't know what to expect. And I just remember one play, I was trapping a pick and roll, and he kind of got around the screen and shot a three. And I remember Coach Tibbs yelling at me like, Perk, keep him in front of you. So in the timeout, I was like, hey, Tibbs, you want to come out here and try to guard him? How about you come out here and try to do it? But he was the ultimate competitor. You know, Kobe, when you think about Kobe, it was another story when I was in Oklahoma City, and I remember we was playing them in the playoffs, and we was trying to trap him, and, you know, I'm trying to give my team some life and bring that tenacity, and he goes to the free throw line, and I'm like, hey, ain't none of that up in here today. And I was like, you know, we gonna lock this up today. And he was like, man, hey, you know what, Perk? I got 30,000 reasons why you can't stop me today. So I was just
Oh, wow. Oh, the trash talk.
And there you go.
You thought Kevin was good at trash talking? This guy, man.
Yeah.
When we talked to Kobe, that he said that was one of the hardest hits in his career, losing to you guys in that the finals in 08.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about that, he got it back. Oh, that's the one I'll never forget. That one he got back from us in 2010. Oh, man. I know he said that was his sweetest one, too.
Yeah.
He said that was the one.
Yeah, the loss to y'all was the toughest, and the win was the sweetest.
Doing it without Shaq.
Yeah.
Yep, doing it without Shaq. Oh, man, that was Kobe. We had 4 All-Stars, dude. You know that? We had 4 All. He was the only All-Star. Him and Pau, he had 2. He had Pau Gasol, but he toughened Pau Gasol up.
Oh, man.
Because that first finals, we ran through Pau Gasol.
Oh, I've seen Kobe obliterate Pau Gasol, and I pulled Pau to the side like, bro.
You can't let this happen.
But just I hear what he's saying, but let me just.
He made Pau
you know how crazy I am. I had to like, you good?
Yeah, it was that bad.
Like, nigga, Kobe go at Pau's head, but like you said, he made him a lot tougher.
He made him a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
He made him a Hall of Famer.
Good call.
Without Kobe, Pau just
another skilled hero. I don't think you could teach dog, but Kobe put some of his dog in Pau. And it's funny that you recognize
Yeah,
that too.
without I saw the difference in this game.
He'll cuss
In
him out
that
in whatever
second
language
finals,
he wanted. Whatever language Powell needed it, Kobe would have cussed him out in that language. Well, Kobe didn't fuck around when it came to losing, man. He did not fuck around.
So this is 2008. So they had just lost to the Celtics in the finals, like tragically, if memory serves. And so he opens up the paper and there's like this article about it. And there's a picture of Paul Pierce. So I see it. We kind of are, and you know, like it's Kobe Bryant. Listen, it's 2008. We're all sitting there. Fucking Kobe Bryant sits down and pours a glass of wine. We're like, what the fuck, you know? And then we look over and he's tearing out the picture of Paul Pierce. So he cuts it out and he folds it up. He puts it in his pocket, and like we're all looking at him, you know, like what's going on? He's like, motivation. We're like, okay, cool. And then he proceeded to like chug his wine, pour another glass, chug it, poured the third, and he was like, basically like, he looks over and he's like, now I'm one ahead of you guys. We were like, okay. Like we didn't know we were racing. Like, cool. But like I think those two things like back to back, I was like, oh, that's who he is. Like that's what this is, you know? It was funny.
For whatever reason, during that day or that night when Michael said, hey, I'm going to dinner and we're going to catch up. I was like, oh, great. Okay. You're in town. And when you go to dinner with him, you always know there's going to be people, you got to sneak him in, you know, So I was like, all right, I'll get there. And, you know, I always try to get there like 10, 15 minutes earlier. So that way, however he's coming in through the back, the front side or whatever.
Yeah.
And like someone else was going to meet us there. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even think to ask who's coming. And lo and behold, Mr. Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant shows up. And it was great. And it was one of those moments that was great because you saw the respect that they both have for one another, but they couldn't help but turn on the competitive spirit. And they just had this virtual dialogue, if you will. And I didn't say a word. I just sat there and I just watched where they were just saying how the game would be played if they caught the ball here. I just remember it. Well, if I catch the ball in the left wing with the live dribble, how would you defend me? And in the detail that they were going over these abstract ideas, that's what really caught my attention was, okay, well, how are you going to catch the ball? Like who asked those questions? You know, what's your pivot foot? You know, what's the score of the game? And then they just did this in all these different places. How would you defend me if I had it here? What would you do if I was? And I just remember thinking, you know, I just had the pleasure of watching like they're geniuses. And the fact that they didn't have to actually play a game, that they could actually just play it in their mind, to me was way more impressive than actually watching them play, because clearly, you know, you would want to see them at their peak, but they were able to mentally play this game. And it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And I remember the conclusion of all of this. I mean, this went on for quite some time, was that they both concluded that they only agreed on one thing, that Michael Jordan had bigger hands than him. And that was the deciding factor.
I think you can see special talent in people, okay? A lot of people have special talent, but they waste it or they never use it. And to watch the growth spurt with him, to watch the trials and tribulations, because in practice he would dribble through 5 guys and make a dunk, okay? You can't win that way. And it took him a while to understand that there was a process for him to get involved and play on a team, and a team that could win. He became the leader of the pack. I think because he started so young, that he resonated with so many people, the young kids who have hopes and dreams like he did. Watching him go to a summer league game, okay? The place was jam-packed, and my son relayed a story to me just today about, and I obviously was there, I think he scored 29 points as a 17-year-old kid. And after the game, he remarked to my son, boy, that was really easy. And you start to think to yourself, 17 years of age, you can't even sign a contract yet? But he was just, the more you're around him, people saw this serious side. He was fun. You know, he could laugh at himself. But as I say, he brought joy to so many young kids that had the same admiration and same desire to do something unique.